Hello, welcome to Jason the Old Millennial. My name is Jason, speaking to you here in my basement in the great state of Kansas. And in this video, I'm going to continue my uh, telling what's my favorite movie each year I've been alive. I keep having a hard time saying those lines. I keep messing up, keep saying every year I was born, which I've always born one year anyways. But every year I've been alive, I'm going through each year and picking my favorite movie of that year, starting with 1983, when I was born. This is an idea I got from Elliot from IMO Reviews. Hope he's watching. Great channel. Elliot's from England, reviews new movies and TV shows. Really good at it. Has a great sense of humor, and I think he has really good viewpoints anyway. So definitely check out IMO Reviews. And subscribe to that channel and watch him. I really enjoy getting to talk to Elliot and comment on his stuff, and he's really good at commenting back, and I really like that. Anyways, yeah, so it's an idea I started. I've been trying to cover the different decades in each video. I covered the 80s, the 90s, the 2000s, so now I'm ready for the 2010s, basically. But then you get 2020s, which there's only been 3 years in this last decade. So I think what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna split this decade and do 7 movies for this video, and then I'm gonna end this whole segment with the last 6 movies of the last 6 years, the best movie of each year. Anyways, this is what I'm gonna do. But even before I start that, I just want to say today is June 25th. It's Saturday. It's my older sister's birthday, so I want to say happy birthday to my sister Abby. Hope she has a good day, and hope she's watching this, and just say, yeah, happy. I'm gonna see you tomorrow. I'm gonna go to my parents' house, and we're gonna have a birthday celebration for her and for me, because next Friday is my birthday. I was born July 1st, 1983. And so I'm gonna be 39 years old next Friday. So it's a lot easier now with because my sister and I's birthdays are only 6 days apart, to do a family celebration for both of them at the same time. So that's what we've been doing. So that's what we're gonna do tomorrow. So I'm gonna go over to to my parents, and we're gonna have probably birthday cake and ice cream and all that. So have some good times there with family tomorrow. But also next Friday, my birthday, I was thinking that I really want to do a contest. I haven't done a contest before. I know that's pretty popular. A lot of YouTubers on the VC like to do these contests. People enter into the contest, and then they pick a winner, and they get a prize anyway. So and that helps a lot of times push YouTubers to subscribers. You know, they want to get to the next goal of subscribers anyways, and I'm at 51 subscribers right now, so I guess the next one would be 100, would be like the next big goal. But any subscribers I'd be happy to accept, you know, whatever number it is. But I don't know, it's something I've heard, you know, it's a good thing to do anyway. So it's something I've been thinking about, so I got an idea of what I'm going to do, and so look to that next Friday for the contest that I want to start anyways, and hopefully it'll be a fun contest, and hopefully people will enter it, and it'll be a good time. Anyway, so look to that. Anyway, so enough with that. I'll get to what I was going to do for this video. We'll talk about 7 movies in the years that they're my favorite movie. Starting with 2010, the beginning of that decade. And my favorite movie that decade, or that year, was Inception. There we go. Christopher Nolan film, starring Leonardo DiCaprio. I mean, amazing cast. I mean, Joseph Gordon-Levitt, Marion Cotillard, Ellen Page, Tom Hardy, Cillian Murphy, Michael Caine has a small part. But really great cast. Christopher Nolan. It's funny. I really love 2 of his movies. This movie is probably my favorite movie of his. I would say this is my favorite movie of his, and it's a really great movie, and it's really up there. It's one of my top favorite movies. A great sci-fi somewhat action movie, psychological thriller. I don't know what you want to call it, but definitely sci-fi movie, and I like sci-fi movies. It has a really interesting plot. I mean, incredible idea and creativity. Um, I also love Batman Begins. I had that as my favorite movie of, I think it was 2005. So Batman Begins, my favorite movie 2005. Inception, my favorite movie 2010. So Christopher Nolan, those are the two movies I like. Everything else he does, I just like really do not like. I think he's like a terrible director, except for these two movies, absolutely incredible. So it's one of those weird things. And he's very popular, I think, as a director. A lot of that thanks to the Batman series, especially The Dark Knight, is considered as like his best movie, and it was a huge box office movie, and people love that movie, and it's like their favorite movie of all time. And I'm not a fan of The Dark Knight. It's one of those weird things where, though I like the Joker's performance, Heath Ledger was great. I don't know, I just could not get into that movie, though I do love Batman Begins. But movies like Interstellar, Dunkirk, Tenet, to me were just so boring. I was just so bored out of my mind, and I was like, I could not wait to get out of the theater, because I was like, this is the worst, most boring movie I've ever watched. And so I'm now kind of at a point where I just don't want to watch Christopher Nolan anymore. He's just a really boring director, but for some reason he did a really good job with this movie. I don't know how he's able to do it, but such an ingenious idea of kind of a world where you can go into other people's dreams, and you can get information through their dreams. In this case, Inception, you can actually put ideas into their brain through their dreams, which is such a interesting idea. And of course, you go into the dream world, all things can happen, because once you're in a dream, all kind of wild, crazy, there's no reality, there's no gravity, doesn't necessarily have to exist, physical, physics don't exist, the laws of dynamics, whatever, doesn't exist. And so you can do all kinds of crazy things. So I love that when they're in the dream world, they really do a good job of making interesting imagery. And then there's this whole idea of being in a dream and then falling asleep and having another dream. A dream within a dream. It just blows your mind when you think it doesn't make sense. It can't be possible, but yeah, it's an interesting idea, and it makes the movie just that much more of an interesting idea, and the plot, and just makes it more complicated, and just on your seat the whole 30 minutes of the last 30 minutes of the movie. You're just on your seat, because they're in these different dreams, and how are they going to get out of it. I mean, it's really well done. And I think the performances are great. I think Leonardo DiCaprio, one of the best actors working today, I think should at least been nominated for an Oscar, if not win, for this movie. I thought he was so good, in my opinion. Anyways, and great ending, very satisfying yet questionable what happens at the end. Anyway, so very interesting movie making. The special effects are great. I love what they do, and I can't get too much into it, but there's different things that happen where the world kind of turns upside down. It's just amazing. Anyway, so yeah, I love Inception. Favorite movie of 2010. 2011 is Harry Potter, The Deathly Hallows Part 2, based off of the book Deathly Hallows, the last movie in the Harry Potter franchise, based off the last book that J.K. Rowling wrote. And of course, I love the last movie usually in a franchise, because usually, ends the movie, usually brings closure to the characters. They defeat the ultimate evil, and there's usually a happy ending, and we can go on and, and live our lives, now. There's, you feel closure, I guess, is the whole thing. And I love happy endings anyways. And so I love how this finally solves the problem of Voldemort and defeating him, of course, and just really, of course, I love the books are just probably my favorite fantasy series. It's the Harry Potter series. Really well written, the plot, the characters, the world building of this wizarding world is so great. And I found myself watching this movie, and it just feeling somewhat emotional at the end, because you just learn to really care about these characters, because you've seen them over 8 movies. And of course, you read the books, the 7 books. I mean, you just really get emotionally involved, which goes to how great of a writing the book is, and the storyline. And There's a lot of emotional moments in the movie, and great climatic ending of the battle between Voldemort and Harry Potter, and just some really great ideas in there, of course. Even though I know they're coming, they still get me. The whole Snape storyline is just one of the best storylines ever, and what happens to him is just mind blowing, breathtaking. I don't know how to say it. It's just when I see that scene with Snape, there's a certain scene with Snape that I see that I usually watch, and I usually rewind it and watch it over a couple times because it's such an amazing scene. One of my favorite scenes of any movie. I won't give away what it is, but there's just a scene with Snape that I just love so much. And overall, just a really great closure to the series, I think. So that's why I had to, and it's one of my favorite fantasy series. I don't know what you want to call it, sci-fi series, fantasy ever, anyways, Harry Potter. So that's why I had to put that as my favorite movie of 2011. 2012, let's see, yeah. I have the Marvels, the Avengers. The first Avengers movie, and we got 4 of the Avengers there. What an incredible idea for a movie, and just groundbreaking, and just something I never thought was possible. And then they did it, and it was just almost felt like a once in a lifetime thing. Of course, we've done it many times. We have many Avenger movies, and now it's pretty popular to have these superhero movies where different superheroes come together for one movie. But at this point, it's never been done before. We never had all these different superheroes from different movies in the same universe. That whole idea that, oh, they all exist in the same universe, they're just having their own different adventures, and then we bring them all together to have their own adventure. I mean, the first time I heard that concept, it just blew my mind. I was like, what? They're gonna combine Iron Man with Captain America? Like, I just never even knew that was a possibility. Anyways, and when they came up with that, I was like, if this works, I mean, it could be great, and it is great. I mean, and it's such a great casting. I mean, all these people, like, I really didn't, either were somewhat famous, well known, but this movie really, so for some of them, like, I think Chris Hemsworth and Chris Evans, I think especially, Tom Hiddleston especially, you know, not as well-known actors to me that until they started making these MCU movies, and then it's like, wow, these are really great actors. I say great, maybe not great is too strong a word, but I mean, they are very good at these performances, I think, in these roles. But yeah, Robert Downey Jr. is amazing as Iron Man. Scarlett Johansson, of course, has always been pretty good. Jeremy Renner's not as well known maybe, but still a really good actor. Of course, Tom Hiddleston's great as Loki, and Samuel Jackson. But it's great bringing all these superhero characters together like they do in the comics and make this really huge action epic movie. The last 20, 30 minutes, whatever the movie, where the Chitauri come in, and they have the whole attack of New York City, and the Avengers have to defend New York City from these aliens that are attacking. And that's one of the best action sequences ever done. And I don't know if I feel like I've never seen an action scene done like that, where the camera is on one action is on one superhero following him as he's fighting, and then also another superhero will walk by, you know, fly by, and the camera will, without cutting, it seemed like almost like one take, which is just incredible. It would just shift over to this other superhero and then follow him, and then all of a sudden he'll go by another superhero and it'll shift to this superhero. And like, I remember the first time watching that theater, I was just totally blown. Like, I just could not believe how good, how interesting, how wonderfully that was shot, and the whole action sequence going almost one take, going from hero to hero, watching them fight different things, and just, yeah, it makes it really a special movie, I think, because of that last fight scene, action sequence. Obviously, action sequences are great. Also has a lot of humor. I love action and humor mixed together, and this has such a great combination and balance of action and humor in it. Anyway, so still one of my favorites, Avengers. That was 2012. 2013, I think this is the first Disney animation movie I've had as maybe the only one on my list. That's I think it's my only one. Yeah, I had Toy Story 2. It was the only, I think, Pixar movie I had as my favorite movie, and that was my favorite movie of 1999. Here, another animated movie. This is a Disney animated movie though, and it's Frozen. that I have as my favorite movie of 2013, which might be a surprise. Because you might be thinking, Frozen, Jason, you're not a 13-year-old girl, or 9-year-old girl, why do you like Frozen? Yes, Frozen is like huge amongst the little girls. I know, because I have a little niece who's 7 years old, and she was obsessed with this movie when it came out. And I remember Halloween, almost all the girls were dressed like Elsa. It's huge amongst little girls, I know. I still really like this movie. And I will even say, when I saw it in theater, I thought it was just an okay movie, but I wasn't totally in love with it. And I was just like, I think there's some plot issues, and not totally interested in some of the plot twists and how it ends. And there's some things about it that I was like, it's not as good as I was hoping it was going to be. But after I started watching it, after it came out on Blu-ray, and I started watching it more and more, I love the movie more and more the more times I watch it. A lot of it's because of music. I think it's the best music I've heard in a Disney. I love Disney animation movies with music, and I like musicals. So the combination of Disney animation and musicals, it's like right in my sweet spot, I guess. Because I love movies like, Lion King, and I like Tangled and Moana. Of course, I used to watch, when I was a kid, Little Mermaid and Beauty and the Beast. Aladdin's always been a favorite of mine. So I do love these musical animation movies. And out of all of them, I think the music is just absolutely incredible. Obviously, Let It Go is a phenomenal song that won the Oscar, and it was on the radio a lot. And it's probably maybe overdone, but still a really, really good song. But there's some other great songs. First Time in Forever is an absolutely amazing song. And I can go on. Just the music is just absolutely incredible. And there's a moment where Elsa and Anna, I believe her name is, the two sisters, Anna's trying to get Elsa to come back and stop the winter, and Elsa's singing like a song that's kind of her theme. Anna's singing the song to her theme, and you have these two characters singing two different songs at the same time, and it's just like absolutely amazing. They all somehow they're singing different things, but yet it's working together, and the music's meshing together, and it's almost like this duet. I mean, just absolutely amazing filmmaking, in my opinion, on that. And I love Olaf. Olaf is one of the funniest characters I think ever made. Probably my favorite character in here. Makes me laugh a lot. I think they did a great job with that character. Anyway, so yeah, so it's a movie that, even though I'm almost 39 years old, I still love Frozen. Anyway, so that's my favorite movie, 2013. 2014, a vastly different movie. It just shows you I like different kind of movies. I can watch an anime movie like that, and I can watch a very violent action film called The Raid 2. If you don't know it, it is a martial arts, I guess, action movie. Takes place in like Singapore, and it's a type of martial arts style called, I think, Sarlat or something like that. That's a specific martial arts style to Singapore. And it stars, I think his name's Iko Uwas. I probably won't pronounce it right, but the main character here, he's done a couple martial arts movies. He's an amazing martial artist, one of the best current martial artists that we have today. Of course, back in the day, you had Bruce Lee, and you had Jackie Chan, and then you had like Jet Li and Donnie Chen. Were some of the greats that I grew up watching and have watched, and Tony Jaa. And I feel like Iko Uwas is like the greatest one in today. Though he doesn't make as many great movies as he did with The Raid and Raid 2. These two back to back. Plus, he did another movie before this that was really good, action movie. So he put together like 3 really great action movies, and then he kind of, I wouldn't say disappeared. I see him every once in a while in a movie or a TV show, but I would love to see him make more movies like this. It's directed by a guy named Gareth Evans, who's interesting. He's like from England, I want to say. He's directing an action movie in Singapore. Very interesting. This is, of course, a sequel to Raid, which is also a decent action flick. I prefer this one over that one. This has some more great action sequences. I love martial arts action sequences. I love kung fu movies. Grew up watching those, and a big fan of those still. And this is one of the best action movies I've ever seen. Very violent, but I mean the choreography is absolutely amazing. Iko is absolutely amazing in his scenes, and there's some, but there's some good emotions. There's some good directing. The way the action is directed is absolutely amazing. There's a great car chase sequence where they're fighting in a car and the camera's moving about the car. I mean, directed really amazingly, and it has the best fight scene I think I've ever seen in my life, where Iko and this other guy called the Assassin, they're fighting in a kitchen, and it's an equal kind of battle. They're both really good, and then the guy pulls out a knife, and then they're slicing each other with knives, and they're in this very clean white kitchen, and as they're cutting each other and they're bleeding, there's blood all over the kitchen, and so this very nice clean kitchen is all of a sudden splattered with blood, and just that fight scene is just so amazingly choreographed, and how it escalates from kind of just going back and forth, and all of a sudden it feels like they're getting faster, and the music's getting louder, and the camera's starting to move around them more, and just the way it's all made is just absolutely incredible action sequence. Anyways, and like I said, very violent. I usually don't watch very violent movies like this, but it's so well done that I have to recommend The Raid 2 if you can take the violence. It's one of the greatest action movies ever made. My favorite movie of 2014. Favorite movie of 2015 is Creed. Kind of somewhat of a sequel to the Rocky movies. There you got Sylvester Stallone and Michael B. Jordan. First movie we're kind of in the Rocky universe, but it's not about Rocky. It's about Apollo Creed's son, Adonis Creed, I believe his name is, and him wanting to be a boxer and having Rocky be his manager, his boxing trainer, and seeing Rocky go from the first Rocky movie to being the rookie kind of raw fighter to now being the mentor. It's such a great arc for that character. Great performance by Sylvester Stallone. Was nominated for Best Supporting Actor. Should have won. Unfortunately, didn't win that one. Michael Jordan should have been nominated for Best Actor. He gives such a great performance in this role. He's one of the best young actors working today, and I don't feel like he's done enough really good movies because he's so good. He should be in better movies than I think he has been, and he hasn't done anything better than this movie, Creed, in my opinion. I would say I think I like it even more. Rocky is one of my favorite movies of all time, and I think this is better than Rocky, which I never thought I'd say that, but it's just really, what's his name, Ryan Coogler, really great young director also, but the scenes are just so fantastic. The boxing scenes are really done really well, and the emotions are really good in that very end scene, the very last boxing scene, and him coming to terms with, feeling like he was a mistake because his father didn't know he was alive, and he feels like a mistake, and that how this boxing match will make him feel like he wasn't a mistake. I mean, just amazing emotional, sequence, and really explains that character so well, and you really feel for that character anyways. And like I said, great performances, and yeah, just one of the best movies I've seen all time, in my opinion, Creed. And the last movie I'll talk about, favorite movie of 2016, another Marvel movie. This is Captain America Civil War. And so you see the whole cast. I mean, just amazing cast. It's the best Avengers movie that's not an Avengers movie. It's called Captain America, but it's more like an Avengers movie, which is pretty amazing. I mean, some of the plot points I don't quite get and don't really like, but still, it's such a great action movie, and even the last fight scene is very emotional, and I like Robert Downey Jr.'s performance as Iron Man. I think really sells it, and still makes it a really great, emotional fight scene at the end. And again, I mean, you bring in so many people. We bring in two new characters, Spider-Man and Black Panther, which are two pretty huge characters in the MCU. So, I mean, that's pretty cool that we got those two in here. And we get one of the best action sequences as I've ever seen, the airport fight scene where, it's called Civil War because Captain America and some of his friends, they have a mission in mind, but Iron Man and his friends He kind of has a group that he puts together that wants to stop Captain America from accomplishing what he wants to accomplish, and all deals with like the Winter Soldier and all that. Anyways, in that fight scene, it's so great because how it starts off kind of small, and they kind of start in these small skirmishes, and then it kind of comes together, and they all come back together, and they have like another big run at each other, and they're just fighting different characters fighting with each other, and love seeing that dynamic of all them fighting. Like I said, I mean, you got Chris Evans, Robert Downey Jr., Scarlett Johansson, Sebastian Stan, Anthony Mackie, Don Cheadle, Jeremy Renner, Chadwick Boseman, Paul Bettany, Elizabeth Olsen, and not on here, but you have Ant-Man, what's his name? And you have Tom Holland, of course, as Spider-Man in there. Paul Rudd as Ant-Man is in here. I mean, amazing cast, amazing action sequences, and a really good emotional ending to it that I thought was really, really good. And I really loved the Captain America is one of my favorite superheroes, and I'd say Iron Man and Captain America are like the two best superheroes I think made in the last, I don't want to say 20 years or whatever. And these two actors do such a great job with the roles, and to see both of them in this movie and them go at each other was really great. And I really love what MCU was doing at this time. I mean, with Avengers, with Captain America, with Iron Man, and then finally Thor Ragnarok kind of made Thor a really great character, I think. And anyway, so I loved what the MCU was doing. Not all of them were great, but they were doing some of the best movies, and some of the best superhero movies, and some of the best movies I've ever seen or been coming out in the last 10 years or whatever that these came out. So anyway, so that's the last movie I'll talk today, and I'll finish the next episode on this and finish out the series of my favorite movie of every year I've been alive. So thank you for watching this video. Feel free to comment on what you think about these movies, what are your favorite movies of these years. I'd love to hear any of that. And just thank you for watching the video, for liking it. Thank you to all subscribers for supporting the channel. I really appreciate you all, and I hope you have a good day.